everyone. I'm Debbie Stokes of Three Women Voices. Today, my special guest is a former NFL professional football player who has used his knowledge, skills, and lessons learned to mentor children about being positive, focused, and driven in sports, education, and in their lives. Today, I introduce to you Tavon Mason.
How you doing today? It's great to finally get with you. And
yes, you. Thanks for being here.
Oh yeah, not a problem. My name is Tavon Mason, Senior. I grew up in West Baltimore, Emerson Village area. We started out in a two-parent household around I want to say, going into my 7th grade year. That's when we noticed things started to kind of like change up between my dad and mom. So they eventually, that's when they split. So that was a tough time at that point. So everything around was kind of like my focal point. But when that happened, sports went to the back burner. I didn't really care about sports unless it was playing in the neighborhood with my friends. So I dabbled, it's like for a week, I dabbled in the drug game for like a week. That was kind of like what was around me. So I started playing sports in 1990. That was like my first organized time playing football with Woodlawn Rec. Prior to that, I played everywhere. In the neighborhood, we would play baseball, basketball, football, anything we can do to stay occupied. And it took me from there all the way to the NFL. I received a call from the Jets, and I got to go up to the Jets to that mini camp, that OTA practices, and I made it to the last cut in 02, 03 before being released. But I mean, it was great experiences. I got to play in Tokyo, Japan with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So the game of football took me to a lot of places I wouldn't have gone if I didn't play football. So so my role was similar to some, different to many. It helped me grasp the idea of having a plan B, because a lot of young men don't.
So now what advice can you give to parents if they have a child that wants to pursue a professional sport?
I would first tell them, research everything and allow them to be kids when it's their time to be kids. What I have noticed is a good amount of parents, they are making it their dream instead of knowing what their kid want, and that's how you get them to rebel. Because every day or every weekend we're somewhere doing this sport, we're somewhere doing that sport. I don't get to ride my bike, I don't get to play with the people in the neighborhood, I don't get to be a kid. So I would definitely tell parents first, feel them out to see what they like to do. For instance, with my son TJ, my wife and I put him in flag football 2 summers ago, because he wanted to play. So he played flag football, did a great job. Upcoming to the end of that year, he said he wanted to play tackle football. And I didn't push it, and everybody thought that, assumed, since I played, I would push him to do it. And really I don't, just because of, one, how my body feel right now, every now and then. 2, on the mental struggle is with wanting to be in the sport because of getting on that professional level, that the window is so small that you can get into. Some people don't know how to handle not being able to make it. Now, I was fine. I would have my moments, only because I didn't understand why I was released or why I didn't make that team based off the information I got. But it never was like, I'm just keep going and keep going and keep going. So a lot of kids can't handle that, the whole mental process of of sport. And I will also tell them just to be heavy on their grades, know the process of what you need while you're in high school, what you need to get out of high school to college, to make it to college. Because I believe a lot of parents don't have the knowledge. They just think, well, if my kid plays good and have all these scouts, automatically he's going. But you don't know what GPA do he needs. Based off of who else they're recruiting. They're not only recruiting your son, they're recruiting, or your son or your daughter, they're recruiting kids from California, Texas, Nebraska, all over the place. So how do you match up against those other kids they might be recruiting? you know,
Right.
find these seminars, you know, get them tutoring for SATs, ACTs, whatever testing. Not only send them to trainers, also make sure you're sitting there, you're training the mind state. And that's what I'm doing with being, you know, named a new head coach at my high school. I talked to some of the athletes on IG, and that's what I'm telling them now. We're doing virtual classes through the school system. So each morning I send them a motivational message, and I also remind them, you know, during this time of doing virtual school, to make sure you're zoning in on school.
Education is very important.
Yeah.
How can a parent help their child balance education and playing sports?
And that balance comes with, again, not having them do so much. You know,
Okay.
sometimes parents, because they see it in their mind, like, my kid's going to go either NBA, NFL, or be a tennis star or golf star or whatever it may be, whatever sport it may be, but they don't see the whole entire picture. You know what I mean? So, you know, we got to think of it in this way, the same way we might go out and work 9 to 5, even though in our mind we believe, well, they just kids, they just go to school. Those 7.5 hours a day, that's a long day for some kids. When you bounce from class to class, you got A/B schedules, so you got work just piling up, and then it's like, okay, we gotta go to practice. You know what I mean? So allowing that time for them to get stuff done, making sure they get their rest, make sure you sit there sometimes and help them with their work, even though you might be tired. And I get through this too. I get tired too, but helping them with something, you know, ask them about their day of cutting that switch off from sports. Advise parents to check in on their sons or daughters outside of the sport dynamic. You know, how are you doing? How's school? You know, what's going on in school? You know, man, you have friends, you know, what you got coming up, you know, something outside of sports to give them the break from it, you know, instead of everything is just, we going to this training, we got this training, go home, make sure you put your stuff in the laundry, take your shower, eat. You got any homework? Oh, no, you got it done. All right, go to sleep. And it's the same thing over and over again. So change up their approach. That way they can continue that, have that open line of communication, and their kid to come to them to talk instead of thinking in their mind like I did. Well, my call is going to be about football. I ain't gonna call it that. I call tomorrow because I really don't feel like talking about football right now, or I really like talking about the sport. So just seeing them as more than just that athlete, seeing them as your son or daughter, and having those son or daughter conversations.
Now, on the other hand, you have a child who is very good athlete, but they don't have parent support. Like they come to their games, they don't ask them about their games. What would you say to that parent?
What I would say to their parents is get involved. If they can't, then I would go to the coaches. You know, then, because again, us as coaches, we're more than just coaches, and we sometimes assume the role as the parent because, again, when you dealing with your mom or dad, you just see them as parent. But when you hear stuff from a coach, it's almost like miraculous. So I say, you know, for parents, talk to the coaches to see if they can help out. You know, even in the schools, having, you know, the mentors in schools are huge, you know, having that other outlet. So again, because kids want to know that you are there for them, you celebrate them. I don't care how old they get. I don't care if they get in high school and they play the tough role. They still love to be noticed and notified, whether it comes from their parents, or uncle, a grandmother, even if it comes from the coach.
Everybody about your foundation, what inspired it, and then what you do for the community and your kids.
So the foundation's called Tavon Mason Love the Kids Foundation. Started it in 2011. And I started out with visiting area children's hospitals. I always wanted to do something to help kids. So I did a camp at Gilman in 2011, talking about being fit. It was around that time when Michelle Obama started her Let's Move campaign, getting everybody fit and healthy. And I wanted to do that as well, because I saw that around that time in 2011, obesity was starting to go up. And I noticed in our Baltimore community, you know, a lot of kids not doing what they used to. They don't go outside. If they do, they're sitting outside on their phone. They're just sitting outside, just chilling and just looking around. No one actually moving or anything. So, you know, we would start by going into schools doing sports fit days. So we started at Matthew Henson in Baltimore City doing sports fit days, taking over the whole entire school, doing fitness questions. We'd do different things. We'll put different stations around the room, and we start by music, exercise, and getting the kids motivated to want to exercise. And that's the time when the title of being a former NFL player clicked, because I knew that would be a draw to kids. And being from Baltimore City and being a former NFL player would be a draw to kids, because it's like, wow, we got a guy that looked like us, that's from where we from, and he made it to somewhere that's high level. And we didn't have that many during that time. Tavon Austin came after me, so we didn't have a lot of people that had made it to that level at that time. We started with that. I had hosted my own kind of like health expo at Woodlawn High School, and had people come out, me and my co-founder, Melissa Brown. And then that's when we started rolling. I wanted to do more, so I wanted to get in the children's hospitals more. And Melissa had called University of Maryland of a wish list. And one of the things on the wish list was slippers. So that's when we jumped off with our slipper drive. We started with one hospital in 2013. And currently, if we didn't have the pandemic breakout, we're up to 9 children's hospitals.
Wow, congrats.
Thank you. We collect slippers and slippers, and we take them to the families and surprise the families, from University of Maryland to Mount Washington Pediatric Hospital, Kennedy Krieger, Believe in Tomorrow Foundation, the Ronald McDonald House in Baltimore, Ronald McDonald House all the way in Long Island, University of Virginia Children's Hospital. We just added this year, and unfortunately, I know we won't be able to visit the Shriners Hospital in Philadelphia. So that's like one of our biggest initiatives. We also do a winter coat and toiletry drive for the West Side Men's Shelter each year in December. And we also do a healthy snack drive for Camp St. Vincent de Paul. And then we also have a reading tour during the summer where I'll visit different county libraries, 3 libraries each month in the summer, and do reading and exercise with the kids. So basically take over the library. So just doing my part. I always wanted to help. And I know what it means to be in my position of being a former player and how that can impact kind of like the mind state of kids. If they see someone that looked like them, even if it was a different race, but just to have, oh, wow, this guy's taking time out to come see us. I knew how that would impact, and that's what I wanted to do. So that's some of the things that we do through the foundation, on top of supporting other organizations as well.
Okay. Now, one con to in sports is the possibility of overexertion, concussions, things like that. What kind of advice could you give to parents about paying attention to the signs in their kids, like after they play?
I would tell parents, and before even parents, coaches, because I think it boils down to us as coaches first, of getting our ego out the way, of wanting to just win, and worried about the life and of our athletes, and really caring totally. That has to shut down I understand we want to win, because if you win, you keep your job, but at the same time, you're not dealing with robots there.
Right.
I think I forgot the year that it was, but the old lineman from the Minnesota Vikings that had passed out in practice. Then after that, we start seeing that more often. Jordan at University of Maryland, you start seeing kids all around. I think, and it's sad to say that it takes something that devastating for us as a people in general to open our eyes to knowing how to take care of our kids, or to even let them know you need to hydrate, you need to eat. That's one thing that I would tell parents on that aspect. If you have an athlete in your household, make sure they eat. You can't keep going by I don't eat breakfast. No, because if you don't have anything in your system by the time the end of the school day comes, you go play a game, you're not going to feel well. My daughter's the same way. I don't eat breakfast, but then she'll go play a game for her middle school and wondering why she's dragging it. And I keep telling her, and again, I'm dad. And from dad don't matter. Even though I got to the highest level, it doesn't ring bells. But I keep reminding her, you have to eat something. Even if you don't eat breakfast, take something that you can eat along the day. That way your body is fueled. So I would tell parents, first of all, make sure you have water, Gatorades, don't rely heavily on Gatorades because it's sugary. Also, we have it for babies, electrolytes, different things, drink that, to replenish back into the body. So parents can take precaution by having these things in their houses, making sure they eat something.
Okay, now you touched on it, having a plan B. How important is it for children to have a plan B?
It's important because sports doesn't last forever.
Mm-hmm.
You get very few that can go the distance like Tom Brady or even Darryl Green when he's with the Redskins, that he retired when he was 41. You get, that's very rare. So that plan B helps to keep that balance mentally, because knowing that, okay, my career is going down, then I got started raising this up. In our culture, our African American culture, when they know this big paycheck is coming, the first thing in their mind is, I want to get, but they don't save for themselves. And you have a lot of guys who, after they played millions and millions of dollars, especially in basketball, who have nothing to show for it, because in their mind, they're coming from places where they didn't have. So it's like, I want to buy this, I want to buy this, I want to buy that, but had nothing to fall on. So that plan B is huge. With, basically setting up your livelihood, and also after your kids, your legacy, because then they can see, like, okay, my dad or my mom did this, so I know how to move the same way. I might not take the same route, but I move the same way on how to set stuff up. Again, being punctual, how to be ready for an interview, because you never know what the interview is going to entail. So I think that plan B is huge.
And you're an author.
Oh yeah.
Let me write the name of your book and how it came about, and then about your reading program, because you go around talking about your book, right?
Yep. And crazy thing, I actually did my first book in 2016 or 17.
Okay.
I did a ebook.
Okay.
I did an ebook on a 60-a-day promise, just as far as families getting fit together, working out together, getting involved together to bring that 60-a-day promise family workout together. Because what I realized, and my co-founder had made me realize, was you can teach the kids on how to eat healthy and be fit, but again, those kids have to go home somewhere or to somebody, and if the families aren't on the same same level as far as the eating and stuff like that, then it defeats the purpose. So I came up with that book for the 60-day promise, a guide to a healthier family and lifestyle. So the family being involved with taking walks and things like that. That was the ebook that I had created. My children's book, Tavon Does It All, I met a great person named Ashley Henderson at the time, now Chesney, her married name. And we met on Instagram, kind of like how you and I met through Facebook. And she saw, again, my foundation page and stuff I did in the community. And one day she asked me, have you ever wrote a children's book? I said, no. I said I did, but I never had it published. I just sat at my desk at Parkville High School one day and started typing one based off of my youngest daughter. She's 14 now, but it's called Kaya's First Day of School. It's basically based around Kaya going to kindergarten or first grade, where she had to now ride the bus. So I made it real animated. How I wrote it. When I sent it to her, she's like, I think you should do a book about you. And I was like, huh? Like, about me? And I was like, why? And then she was like, think about it. You African American, you came from Baltimore, from a city, you made it to the NFL, and she like, what grabs kids' attention more than professional athletes right now? So she created an independent company called DT Levy Publishing in 2015, and I signed underneath her independent and started writing the book together.
Wow, that's awesome.
So the construction of the characters and Tavon Does It All came about. And I know when I first put the title out there, a lot of people probably thought it was probably could have been like on a cocky side, because Tavon Does It All. When I go and read in the libraries or wherever I would read it at, I I would describe the cover. So the picture of me, the picture on the cover is actually me from 7th grade when I played the Woodlawn Rams. And inside the cover, I have an actual picture of my 7th grade picture with my Woodlawn Rams uniform on. And around me, you see a report card, you see a fairy tale book, you see some walking slippers, and all of that was signs of I did a slipper drive in the foundation. I do the reading tours with the books. Now I'm real heavy on grades, and in that book, it showed us winning the game, and me being a sportsman, getting our team to back this kicker that they thought would make the field goal. But then all of a sudden, that's when you get kind of like that twist of that animation. My duffel bag, the slippers, the book, the report card. But what happened was it opened my teammates' minds up to like, wow, Tavon don't only play football. He does stuff in the community.
Does it all.
Good grades. He likes to read books. And we wanted to give that, to change that stigma of the whole dumb jock stigma of that. Play sports, and wanted to know he's more than just an athlete. He cares for others. So so I had that book in 2015. I would do my reading tours in the library, and last year my good friend Joel was like, when he wrote his book, he said, "Hey, we should join together and come up with a reading tour." So we came up with the Joel and Tavon reading program, and we had our first reading in December of last year, 19, and Matthew Henson, and read to the kids. We got a sponsor to purchase the books, and the kids were able to walk away with one of our books. We signed it. We had Channel 11. Jason Newton came out and kind of was like he was kind of like the MC, and they did a story on us doing the book. So we wanted to push, again, that literacy piece that, again, everything goes back to how do you uplift your community and your culture, because other cultures do it for their cultures, and trying to get our kids to see the fun in literacy. And that's the reason why I kicked off my reading tour in 2015.
Now this is the last question. Do you have any last words of advice for women when it involves their kids?
I would tell women, moms, grandmothers, keep doing what you do. And I say us, even us as men, kids and everything. I know sometimes it'll be tough because your kid will give you that pushback. Just keep doing what you do. It might be tough now, but it is going to come back full circle. And also take care of yourself. A lot of times with women being the main head, even though men are supposed to be the head, women take on a lot because, again, it's in the makeup and how the world sees things as the women being nurturing and know how to fix things. Take that time for yourself to have your own self-help as well. Whether it's going out for a walk or, having that moment somewhere in the house where, you can put headphones on, play your favorite song, your favorite motivational video, something like that. You got to have that self-care, and also connect with other women. Even though this time I've been seeing a lot of Zooms where women can meet up just to talk. Sometimes we're taught to hold stuff in, or you don't tell everybody all your stuff. It's just what we were taught from the traditional styles. But even if it's just to join in, just to hear and just to see another face, another female face, to take that on and accept, other women reaching out to you.
I just want to congratulate you for being such a positive role model and for giving back to kids and your community. If anybody wanted to reach out to you, how can they reach you?
They can, go to my website, www.tavonmasonloves, that's loves with an S on the end, thekids.org. I'm at Tavon Mason on Facebook. I'm at tmason18 on Twitter, TML TKF on Twitter, and Mr._T Mason on Instagram, and Tavon Mason Love the Kids on Instagram. If you want me to, I know we're going through stuff to speak to your school or anything to get more information about that, you can email at tavonlovethekids@gmail.com or straight through the foundation website to contact me.
And I want to thank you so much, Tavon, Well,
No problem. Thank you.
and I want to say thank you for watching. You can reach Three Women Voices at threewomenvoices.com. And again, I thank you for watching.